Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Progressive World. So, today we're going to dedicate most of it to the Israel Palestine conflict and how it touches a few people in the progressive world, such as our friend, well, I would call him my former friend now, Andrew Yang. Not that I knew him, but, and then Glenn Greenwald just put out an article on AOC and Andrew Yang that's very interesting as well. And there's also the whole Kyle versus Vaush, if that's how you say his name, from earlier on this week. So have a little take on that. We'll get to that. But Sam, let's start with Israel and Palestine and just talking a little bit about our general take, if anything, we found to be interesting this time around. So I just wanted to start a little bit through the media coverage I started to look, which made me reach my current take. So I just sent them to you. Like the first picture is from DW article, and at the end they start putting bullet points the most important issues they think is most important. So more than 2 rockets being fired is ahead of 20 people killed in Gaza. Then I went to The Guardian. The Guardian had... Yeah, go ahead. Tell me, whenever you want, stop me. Yeah.
No, just it's bullet. They didn't number it at least.
I think if you put bullet points in that way, you start with what you think is most important.
Fair enough.
What do you think the headline should be? Then I went on The Guardian, and by the way, I didn't cherry pick these at all. These are all the kind of apps that I have on my phone or the newsletters that I get in my emails. I didn't go around, looking for the most messed up headline out there.
Well,
Then
the
the Guardian
okay,
one is not bad, right? Yeah, so actually bear that in mind. The Guardian one's not bad. DW, so this was the main page. So Tel Aviv hit with rocket fire. This was after we knew about there had been already killings and deaths in Gaza. Nothing there. Al Jazeera, of course, is in a totally different side when it comes to this issue. So their coverage is, of course, not bad. France 24, Hamas trade deadly fire as over 130 rockets fired towards Tel Aviv. So again, nothing about Gaza or the killings. BBC, not any better whatsoever. I caught them on TV a little bit also yesterday. Not good. Rockets target Tel Aviv after Gaza tower destroyed. Again, nothing about. Already reports at this time about at least 10 deaths.
This
10.
conflict has been brewing for a week or so,
Yeah.
and BBC had some. I remember Israelis forcibly remove families, that type of thing. So they had some at least
but
like articles before. I didn't follow them specifically during conflict. So.
But most of it leaves a lot to desire. And yeah, so this, as soon as I started watching a little bit about, the news started coming out, I was hit with such a deja vu. And it was insane. It's like with this issue, everybody fell right in their places as they were exactly the last time when this happened in 2014 or the times before that. It was amazing. I found all the narratives, all the media outlets, even The Guardian reverted back to being a bit more leftist than the other outlets that you can see with its headlines. All the other ones are the same. The narratives coming out are the same. The PR, that book that they have, whatever, on this Israel-Gaza conflict is so ready to go. Like when COVID happened, there were all these different narratives, blah, blah, blah. No,
Really?
one way of attacking it. But this one, it seems like, the PR book just came right off the shelf. Everybody knew exactly what to say. Whereas it was on the leftist people who sided, of course, Palestinians, or the right wings. I found that nothing had changed when it came to this over the past 6 or 7 years. I found that to be quite striking.
Well, yeah, it's 70, 80 years conflict.
Yeah, no, I know, but the exact same. Although I heard a new narrative, this one's amazing, but this one has to do with the settlements. So Al Jazeera was having a little debate, and one of the people there was a former advisor to Israel's Security Council or UN person, and he kept on bringing up the courts. He was like, listen, the courts in Israel will decide on whether these Palestinians can stay in this house or not. And it's like, in Israel we follow the law of the courts, so what the decision of the courts, so what the courts say, we will follow it. I was floored by this argument. I was like, are you seriously making this argument that sure, I'm sure that if 2 Israelis go to court, they have a great court system, or as good as you find other places. But if it's something against like a whether evict Palestinians or not to allow new Israeli settlers to come there, I mean, of course, Palestinians have no power over the legislation, what laws are passed, or anything. I mean, it's the biggest joke I've ever heard. So
I
that's
mean,
one new thing that I
there are
heard.
Arab Israelis,
Yes,
but
but I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, to be fair, it's just I hate the fact that you know there is no in-depth real coverage because it seems that this war is really more to do with Israeli elections and Netanyahu
yeah,
trying
and
to
that's not
over
talked about at all, right? The
exact. Well,
dynamic
not
of
I don't know. I didn't see the Al Jazeera debate. Maybe they talked about it, but in Persian reportage they talked about it a bit. But it has more to do with the fact that he's not able to form a government right now. So he may have tried to basically unite all the right wingers um, through conflict over forcibly removing some families
yeah,
because it's just the whole thing. And you know, it's yeah, it's I mean, it's a very sad thing and all that. But I would say I still don't understand this focus on Palestinian-Israeli conflict. There are so many conflicts happening all around the world involving so many people, and frankly, I don't like the budget of. Uh, I mean, again, I think the pressure should be put on Arab nations because of the way settlements have been built right now and what has happened during the last 30, 40 years. There is no chance of a successful Palestinian state, in my opinion. So I think the focus should be on, first of all, reforming the Israeli state so it's not an apartheid state in which Arab Israelis are treated differently from Jewish Israelis. That's one thing. Secondly, the other Palestinians that are basically the people who were forced to leave as Palestine, I think they should focus on integrating into other Arab nations, basically. It's not nice, it's not fair, it's not good, but I think it's over. Like, I mean,
yeah.
the way the settlements have been built, they don't have any access to sea, they don't have enough arable land. They've been bombed to the fucking dark ages. As by the way, one of I think Israel's ministers about
Yeah,
15
yeah,
years ago said that we're gonna bomb them to a stone age.
yeah.
So I think right now we should focus on basically this is like focus on damage control for the people of Palestine. And yeah, I just don't like the media. I don't think this media coverage of this conflict will have any effect except that it will give Netanyahu a chance to form a government. Otherwise, I don't think it will help the Palestinian cause in any way. I don't think it will help the Palestinian people in any way.
Yeah, no, I don't think I would disagree with much you said there. Just like one thing you said, I don't like, how come it commands so much, so much attention. There's so many issues in the world that perhaps touch more people and they don't get that kind of coverage or other conflicts. Perhaps one reason is that this conflict is so long, has been going on for so long that so many people know about it and understand it.
You,
When
you,
Nagorno-Karabakh was happening, not that it's the same, but between Azerbaijan and Armenia, not a fraction of quote unquote normal people out there are aware of this.
exactly.
Whereas Israel-Palestine, I mean, everyone has heard about it to a certain extent. So I'm guessing that's one reason why it commands so much attention.
I know. Look, Bangladesh, sorry, Kashmir situation. A lot of situations like that. There are a lot of old conflicts going on. A lot of old
But I mean,
conflicts in
this one
Africa.
is a particular one that's been on the spotlight for so long. I mean,
It's more to do with the, I think, fact that America was interested in the Middle East region.
yeah.
So
But I
this
mean, one way or
can't.
another, however it's happened, my point is that
No,
so
no,
many people
but
know about it and understand it when they're listening and they're like invested.
sure. But I just wish they ignored it. That's all. I think it should all be because I can't help anything with that situation in any.
Yeah,
I
but I mean,
can't
you
help
can say
anything
that
with a
about
lot of.
anything, though, kind of.
Sure, but this one is just getting very tiring because it's been like, well, since I remember, it's always been the same. That Israelis sort of
Yeah,
poke, and then Palestinians throw a stone, and then they come in with tanks and like bulldozers and just
Yeah, I mean,
and then
tiring and horrific, but that's kind of what I mean, what I was saying about everybody like falls into their place in this conflict, right? I can already even sense when it's gonna end this like wave of fighting. If it's like any of the previous ones, once it reaches like around 200 something Palestinian casualties, for some reason they reach a ceasefire between like the Gaza part, although there are a lot of things going on all over
they're
Israel
already
right
I
now.
think oh no sorry
I don't think
200
so. Not yet. Yeah.
here.
Yeah. No. The latest I saw was 79 this morning from Al Jazeera. 79 Palestinians killed, and I believe 6 Israelis. But usually, once it reaches like around 200 or something, there's an initial ceasefire. Then there are a little bit more, and then there's another ceasefire, and it's just insane. All of it is just so. I don't know. There's just like this book on it. This is the way that it goes. But what do you think? I mean, I want to ask you. It's kind of a silly question, but for Israelis, what is like their end goal? Is it to just take as much as possible, but at some point the Palestinians won't disappear? Do you think at some point when they've taken all places, somehow give like put all Palestinians from different areas, I guess, into one area and go for a different kind of two-state solution than what's been talked about? I mean, what do you envision this happening in 30 years? I know
I
it's a
think
kind of like a silly question, but anything?
no, I think Israeli policy is clear. They're gonna lock them in uh, as slowly as steal the land, lock them in a smaller and a smaller area until they die out. Basically, that's the
Yeah, I mean, there won't be
lock.
any dying out probably. I mean, eventually there'll have to like be a little bit more of a separation, I'm guessing, between the two. Because I mean, look, right now there are as many Palestinians as there are Israelis. I mean, no matter how much you
Yeah,
bomb and stuff, people don't go away that way unless maybe if you nuke
yeah. I,
different parts.
I,
But
I mean, they do control the food supplies and stuff, so they
yeah, I mean, the
did try to
control.
even mal.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think they're just doing a war of attrition, and they know they're gonna win. So that's what they're going for. But I think their end game is to be honest, there are some hardcore Israeli Zionists that say that, from the old empire, from Nile to Euphrates or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
the old Jewish empire that was from Egypt to middle of Iraq. So some of them want all of that back. But I think most of them would be happy with annexation of West Bank and Golan Heights. And I don't think anybody wants Gaza because I think they pretty much offered it to Egypt and they didn't want it either because
Yeah.
it's not a great place to have. Uh, but you know,
Okay,
um,
but let's get to Andrew Yang. So I feel like here, you're there's gonna might be a little disagreement because me, the Andrew Yang tweet, like,
well,
sorry.
no, I don't think so. They're
Oh,
really much
okay.
disagree.
Because no, me, it really rubbed me the wrong way. I mean, okay, so I've come to Andrew Yang's defense before, even over the MBS stuff. Sorry, the boycott BDS stuff. And I was like, I mean, okay, let's not let one issue taint our entire picture of Andrew Yang. Let's be a bit more practical. The world is so messed up. If voting for Andrew Yang can achieve some better material outcomes for people, that's just one issue. Let's put that aside. And then there's been some other ridiculous criticisms of him, like when the Vanguard covered the whole dog thing, and that was ridiculous. But I mean, this time I don't know what it is with this tweet. I mean, it's one issue, but I'm completely put off by him and this tweet. So his tweet, I'm standing with the people of Israel who are coming under bombardment attacks and condemn the Hamas terrorists. So the first part, horrible. And even the second part, the people of New York will always stand with their brothers and sisters in Israel. I mean, who are you? You're not even the goddamn mayor yet. And you're making such a statement. I don't know
Well,
why
that's the
I was
thing.
so truly put off by this. And I'm like, who told you? Like, why are you turning this Israel-Palestine thing in such an issue? Are you genuinely like know very little about it, that one advisor told you this, that you're just going with it, or you really think strategically like being so pro-Israeli is going to win you the election in
Well,
in
one of
in in New
the
York? I mean, if you ask me, I wonder how many Jews in New York actually agree with Israel or this kind of stance. I highly doubt it's all of them. So I'm even baffled as to why he's like, this is one kind of issue, that one foreign policy issue that he talks about every now and then.
I think because he opposed circumcision
Yeah.
early on. No, seriously.
Yeah, no, I believe, I know. I'm just like,
This was weaponized against him as he's an anti-Jewish person and stuff. And then with the BDS, and now with this, he's trying to basically win over the Jewish vote, and which I think he successfully has. I would say the older people vote more often, and older Jewish people are far more pro-Israeli than younger Jewish people in New York. And Jewish people are
yeah.
a significant
I
population in
just
New York.
checked 13% of the population, but yeah, still.
So I would anyway. I would say that he's a politician running for a position, so I'm not surprised, or
No, I'm not
it.
surprised, but extremely put off. I mean, personally,
I
like,
mean,
really
yeah.
put off by
Yeah,
Andrew
again,
Yang.
sure. I think his overzealousness and his obvious like attempts at basically kissing the ass of the Jewish community is if I was a Jewish person, which I'm not, it would rub me the wrong way. Like, chill out, man. Like, maybe
Yeah.
like you can have a more nuanced view. Like, oh, we are standing with like all that. But I'm not surprised, to be
Yeah,
honest.
no, I don't think I used the word surprised. Did I say I'm surprised? No,
Oh, no,
I'm
no,
not.
or uh,
But extra, like,
didn't
no,
it
me
didn't rub me
really
the wrong
did.
way because I didn't expect better from him. It's just it was very show-offy and clearly politically motivated, I
I
think.
mean,
I mean, I don't.
he could have even made it a little bit better, if you would have just like a little bit balanced it out, just
I
mentioned a
just say,
little bit of things about even
I
just,
oppose any human tragedy and tensions and blah
yeah,
blah
at
blah.
least that.
Yeah, make it PR
Yeah.
nonsensical words that don't mean anything. He could have gone that way. I think he was trying to make a point. It rubs, but then again, I think he knows that, like, if somebody, let's say, if somebody is like me, living in New York, somebody with relatively leftist, let's say, tendencies, they don't really have any better options than him, even
I don't know. I would
considering
look
it.
into
So
I mean, there are some other progressive candidates, so I
I
don't
think
know.
there's the Peter Stinger or Singer guy, and he's been. I think his campaign was hit by very very suspicious allegations of sexual abuse and all that. So I don't think progressives.
Mm,
I don't think they have any other option. So
yeah.
I think he thinks I have them in the bag. So who give
I mean, I don't know.
if he,
If I was a progressive voter in New York, I mean, maybe I would still at the end vote for him. But this
it's
one,
about mayor.
yeah,
Like,
I
mayor
know,
is not
I know.
the
But just one thing to really take into consideration for me at this point, to this extent. And then after that, if you're running for president and stuff, like, forget about it. If this is where you're starting, God knows what you'll be saying in 10 years. So I just sent you some of the comments under the tweet. So his tweet got barely any reaction. The ones under it got more retweets and likes. And so these are the
Yes.
top three. The first one kills me. The guy, he's a Henry Golding. I think he's an actor. He just says, "You're an actual
Yeah.
twat," and that's it.
Henry Golding, by the way, fantastic British actor.
Uh,
I don't of some sorry I don't know, but some Asian origins. He was great in, I think, Crazy Rich Asians, and he was great in The Gentleman. He's fantastic British actor. Anyway.
well, his tweet is hilarious. And for instance, if you look at the third one, that's a proud Jewish New Yorker who tells him to fuck off all the way, or to fuck all the way off.
Yeah,
So,
Stephanie.
indeed, if for him to
Hold on.
see that, not all anybody who's Jewish is necessarily Israeli
Oh
or
no.
pro-Israel, maybe he doesn't even
But
really know that. That
majority of funding for IPAC comes from Christian Zionists. Doesn't come from
yeah.
Jewish people.
So
More than 80% of American Jews don't support the Netanyahu's policies.
exactly. So
And
even his calculations, they seem a bit off. And then of course he comes out with a statement. The guy for the statement, he didn't even put a proper tweet. He like just put out a statement, and then in statement he does the kind of thing, both sides, blah blah blah, kind of wishy-washy what his tweet could have been at the very least. But it's insane. He didn't tweet anything. He just tweeted, the picture of like prayer, and then he put a statement. So I had actually missed it because I went and tried to see if he tweeted again about the issue, and I completely missed this one. So I was like, come on, like, fucking guy. Like, he wants to say, like, oh, I put out the statement, but at the same time to not get too much attention. So, I'll put it
No.
on the screen right now. So you get what I mean? He didn't tweet his second message. It's like a little statement like this, like 2 or 3 paragraphs, and the actual tweet
Yeah.
is just an emoji.
I
Absolutely
see.
ridiculous. But let's
Oh.
look at more serious stuff, perhaps. Glenn Greenwald kind of brought me back down to earth a little bit. But him is more about AOC, and like, I completely agree. So,
AOC was just the speed at which she sold out for so little,
yeah.
to be honest. Man, hold out a bit for maybe a bigger payout. Like they gotta buy. Everybody sells out at some point. I hope to sell out at some point for a good price. But that's the dream, right? But don't do it so quickly, like less than a year. But Israel should be criticized a year later. Yeah, I don't know about that.
Well,
Israel is Israel.
for once, she tried to come out, right? And like, be who AOC was supposed to be. But she just, points out, she just attacks Andrew Yang. And, she turned it into this Ramadan thing. I have the tweet here. Utterly shameful for Yang to try to show up at an Eid event after sending out the chest-thumping statement, blah, blah, blah. But then to try that in Astoria during
Oh, I
Ramadan,
didn't know.
they will let you
Oh,
know. So, she criticized Andrew Yang. And Glenn Greenwald, he wrote an article saying, so AOC pretty much attacked Andrew Yang, who has no power, who can't do anything about, the U.S. policy whatsoever, but conveniently didn't say anything about Pelosi's statement, which he shows about, Biden, all these kind of important, people in U.S. politics who said exactly the same, or perhaps, I wouldn't say worse. Like, Andrew Yang's was really like, I don't know how he could have gone more right wing. Like, he was to the extent of the
no,
right, but
I've seen worse. I think his base are far more to the left, so it's been received
yeah,
far worse.
but
But
it's just
no,
like the Pelosi one,
AOC,
and I found the
AOC is
Pelosi
perfect.
statement to be sorry.
Sorry, no, go ahead, sir.
No, I was gonna say I found the Pelosi statement to be better than his tweet because at least she didn't say that the people of the U.S. will stand. She just like spoke for herself a little bit more. But yeah, Glenn Greenwald's whole point was that look at AOC. Like the one time she comes out on like a progressive issue, she goes against the weakest, least powerful, meaningless person and doesn't say shit about, of course, Nancy Pelosi or the Biden administration, who also, just like I was talking about before, like fell right in the queue, right in that box, like maybe he's good right now with Afghanistan and all this, but on this issue, he fell exactly, or his administration's fallen exactly where you would have expected them to fall.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, this is not an issue that I don't think any president, even Bernie Sanders, I don't think would have been able to
Mm.
do cause significant change. But yeah, AOC is she's very good at attacking people who are weaker than her,
Yeah.
calling them out and all that, or people in opposition. But her own bosses, her own paymasters, they are fine. They're just
Yeah,
dandy.
exactly. Glenn Greenwald wrote that her attack is vintage AOC, performative, theatrical, and symbolic. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of all I have
Yes.
on the Israel-Palestine thing. I don't know if you have um, anything else about it to add. Did I tell you about this
Oh,
one time I went to an Israel-Palestine protest?
no. Which side were you on?
So this was honestly, again, I was so like
I
disgusted. I will
remember.
never do that again.
Yeah, go say.
So it
Why
was
were you?
in 2014. So I think the last time when they were bombing Gaza, there was a protest across the street from the Israeli consulate in Toronto. So go there protesting, and so I was on the Palestinian side, and on the Palestinian side there were rabbis, there were like other religious figures, Jewish people, like a much bigger group. And in front of the embassy itself, like right in front of it, I guess there was like a counter protest by
Yeah.
Israelis. I kid you not. There were like five Israelis or Canadian Jews, and they were just playing random techno music. So it was like a little girl and like her mom, and then like these three guys that came who were just like showing the middle finger, and then a few guys from the Palestinian side also started showing the middle finger. But the Israeli ones were just dancing to like a lounge techno song. Just that was all they were doing. So I guess their message is that we're like open minded or something. That's what they were going for. But I was so revolted and disgusted by that. I was like, Jesus fuck man, what kind of counter protest is that? Just stand there and say fuck you and fuck the Palestinians or something like that, and I would have been much happier. But they succeeded in putting me off completely. They were literally just dancing to techno music as if they're in a lounge, like four of them.
I went to a shop once that sold, I don't remember exactly, but sold items that were produced in like occupied lands or something. I assume that was the thing. Because when I went to the shop and I came out, and then I didn't notice, or when I went in, I didn't notice when I went in, but when I came out, there were these two protests going on, like on my two sides. One saying that you shouldn't buy from this place, and another side saying that you should definitely buy from this place. And I was like, shit, I already bought, so I just went. But yeah, it's really weird because Israeli government is always active, so there's always these counter pro. Like you
Yeah.
don't see that like Black Lives Matter, like a count. Usually, sometimes you do, but it's just really interesting.
Yeah, I mean the
But
counter
I,
protest was pathetic, but the story that you're telling me is that in the UK?
yeah, that's in the
There
UK.
they're kind of in Europe there is a little bit of the BDS movement in the sense of labeling
In the
products that
UK
come
more,
from occupied places.
yeah, in the UK more so than Germany and
Yeah.
France, I think. And yeah, I
But
would
in the
add
EU,
that
I
there
think
was
there
a
are talks.
maybe there was a great interview with Norman Finkelstein by Katie Halper. So I watched that, and they covered all of that, and that was in great detail. And they talk about how media covers the Israeli-Palestine situation, um, using, for example, passive voice, describing action as if it's happening rather than somebody committing any actions. So I would definitely add that, check that out for sure. That was a great interview.
No, that's an absolute must. It's not a must watch, but a must listen. 'Cause you might not see
Yeah,
much if you watch it. It's
yeah,
just
yeah. Norman Finger, Norman Finkelstein is exceptionally chilled in this interview, just the dress code and everything.
but it was
But
late too. He said he
content,
came back from dinner.
I think, yeah, it was like, yeah, it was very late, but it was a really good talk
Yeah.
nonetheless. The content was amazing, and I think it was more substantial than most of the news coverage, because most of the news coverage, as you say, is just the repeat of the old things. You know, these guys sent missiles, those guys
Yeah.
sent bombs.
No, the
But yeah,
PR book is amazing for how to cover like when there's a spike in violence. It's really like well made, like a crisis like book ready to go to. But yeah, I mean in the interview with Norman Finkelstein, they barely even talk about the current thing. It's more like contextual and putting everything in context. No, really a must watch or a must listen.
yeah, definitely check that.
Okay, so today we kind of have a short progressive world episode. So I just have one more story. So this one is about with Kyle Kulinski against Vaush. Did you watch a little bit the back and forth and what the little
I,
controversies about?
I, I watched the Kyle Kulinski respond. I didn't watch anything else. I didn't know about the Twitter thingy. To be, go ahead, give a background, and then I'll
Yeah, I'll
give
give
you
a
my.
background. I mean, pretty much Vosh seemed to have completely like misheard or misunderstood kind of what Kyle was doing in video. So let's go back a few weeks. There's this CIA promotional video that comes out where this lady like pretty much reads like every word in the
Oh, that,
vocabulary
yeah,
trying to
yes,
describe herself. Like, I'm
yeah,
this,
that
I'm
was
that,
the
I'm this.
first.
I'm like, okay, nobody can be that many things. Pick three. That's already good, but sure.
No,
But
yeah, she evoked the language of wokeness
yeah,
to promote CIA. It's kind of like, when those military adverts. Are you looking for adventure?
Yeah.
Are you looking for fun? Join the U.S. military. And you're like,
But yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
absolutely ridiculous promotional video. Who cares? Um, and then Kyle made a video and he's like kind of reacting to it. And so the woman describes herself as particularly, she says, I'm cisgender and I'm intersectional. And Kyle Kulinski goes like, nobody in like normal world, like normal person who isn't, he says like liberal elite circles, but I guess I would say like, yeah, I would say people who don't watch all the stuff that we talk about on the progressive world. People who be like, Kyle, who? What? Israel-Palestine? Yeah, that one I heard. People who aren't like news junkies and stuff. I would have put it that way. He says such people don't use the terms cisgender and intersectional. Who the hell says that? And then Vaush interpreted this to Kyle saying that, he's like, well, intersectionality is actually a very important framework of analysis. And if there wasn't
what the fuck does it mean? I am intersectionality is a concept that different factors like race and income can intersect and have a double effect, or their effects can be, interesting. They can be combined. So I don't understand. What the fuck does that mean? I am intersectional. Like, of course you are. Everybody's the intersection of many different. Like, what the fuck are you talking?
I mean, exactly. And she says that, right? She says, I'm intersectional. She doesn't say like, I care about intersectional issues. But I have a little secret to admit that we'll get to in a second. But before that, I mean, yeah, Vaush just
intersectional.
Maybe it's worse than that. But the thing is that Vaush completely misinterpreted what Kyle Kulinski said. Kyle didn't say that intersectional, like, talking about like intersectional analysis or like that way of thinking is not important and all that. He just said that normal people day to day don't go around saying, oh yes, I don't care about this issue, but this one's intersectional, and as a cisgender I definitely care about this. Like, nobody talks like that.
Yeah, I think, to be fair though, I think Kyle didn't understand that CIA wasn't targeting normal people with that ad. That was a PR ad more than anything.
Of course.
The elite feel comfortable. Look, we are just like you. We are just some liberals, plotting coups around the world. What's wrong with that? We can be gay, we can be brown, we can be intersectional, whatever that is. So let us continue our drug running and gun running operations. Come on, please.
No, exactly.
So I think that was the thing. But yeah, Vaush's criticism, I think, was unfair, and I don't think. I think very few care about these type of things.
It's not even about caring. You could care about. I mean, I'm not even saying that average people, they don't talk about the issue. They might be talking about exactly that. Oh, I'm affected by X and Y. This has made my life really hard. But no one will use the word intersectional. And I guess this gets me to my secret.
Today, when I was driving as a black man in America, when police stopped me, I felt the intersectionality of my low income combined with the 200 years of black prejudice. What?
Right? Nobody says that, right? They'll be like, you stopped me because I'm a black man.
I don't. Maybe
right?
Noam Chomsky.
No, even him. I don't think so. But this gets me to my secret, which is I didn't know what the terms intersectional or cisgender meant.
I'm about cisgender. I'm not. Cis means, like, when they say cis male, it means normal male. Not normal. I mean, like the traditional definition of male with a penis or whatever.
It means your gender matches your sex, kinda. So a cisgender male is I guess a male who likes women.
Yeah. So a male that has a penis and thinks he's a male and wants to have sex with a female.
Exactly. So that's a cisgender. And intersectional, yes. I mean, as soon as I looked at the concept, I knew exactly what it's talking
I
about.
think
And
it's a
everybody,
feminist concept
yeah,
originally.
exactly. It comes from the feminist world, according to Wikipedia and according to Vaush. I mean, Vaush got into it. He's like, well, actually comes from the third wave of feminism. Like, if you wanted to make a video about intersectionality, you could have just done it. You didn't have to twist Kyle Kulinski's take to talk about intersectionality. But yeah, I mean, Kyle was totally right. He completely misunderstood
Yep.
that. But this was the second time I saw Vaush. Listening to him, he seems like a pretty, like, analytical and, like he speaks in a very interesting and, like, he has the proper voice for it and everything too. So he did
Mm.
also a debate with Ben Burgess a while ago.
That's
That's how I came across it.
oh right. I think that's what has been holding our channel back, our voices, to be honest. Is
That
not
too.
a strong suit of our channel.
No,
But
but
yeah,
his is really good. His
yeah,
is
he's
really good. But
radio.
yeah,
Radio.
just ridiculous. So this one was a really short and small one. At least I learned about intersectionality and cisgender. Okay, the word cisgender though kills me. Who says
I,
that?
I,
I believe
I
the correct
heard
term
all
is
of this.
straight. Huh?
Yeah, I heard all of these cis stuff when I was divulging on Jordan Peterson and that type of thing, and
Oh, they
like
talk
when
about
all
cis.
these talk, all these pronouns became such a big deal. There was a people getting fired in universities in
Yeah.
Canada and all. So or there were guidelines issued, something like that. I became familiar, but okay. So what is if we want to say cis male? So do we have an uncis male or it's just that's
No,
just
I mean,
gay or
yeah, exactly. I guess if you're not
queer?
exactly right, that's why there's like, I mean, no point
I
in bringing up if you're cisgender.
yeah.
I
So
mean,
anyway,
yeah,
yeah.
it's just
But
ridiculous, but okay.
yeah,
Learn
that was
something.
interesting with the response to. I liked how Kyle said, "Now I have to every time I mention the working class, say the Rainbow
Oh, that
Coalition of
was
Working
another
Class
thing. That
because
was another thing.
because
Sorry.
otherwise you think I'm talking about white people."
Yeah, exactly. No, and at first listened to Kyle, and I thought Kyle was maybe putting words in his in Vaush's mouth, but no. Like Vaush said that, oh, like working class is not only white people, and then Kyle is like, when the hell did I say? Even like a
Working class
black
is
person who's half Latino, half that, half this, half whatever you want, they will not use the words intersectional or cisgender. Unless maybe
agree.
if they're Gerald Horn or something, and he won't use cisgender, he might use intersectional, but that's because he's a historian scholar.
Yeah,
It might
and
come.
nobody says I am intersex. I don't.
Yeah. I mean, that
I
doesn't
don't
even
get.
make sense, but I guess that's a criticism about the CIA video.
I am. I don't know. Yeah, maybe I am product of intersectional society. I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't. I just. I have more problem with the language use
Yeah.
than.
But
But
she also says something else that's funny. She says like
I've been
with one
diagnosed
hand. Oh yeah.
that maybe we don't want you doing drone attacks if you
Yeah.
have general
Yeah.
like general anxiety.
And then she has one part where she's like, with one hand I can change a diaper, and I thought she was gonna say, with the other hand I can keep on working or thinking, but then she's
Or
like, no, with
waterboarding napkins.
or what? Yeah. On one hand, I can change diaper, with the other hand, water. But no, with one hand, she can change a diaper, and with the other hand, she can tend to another baby. Like she said something about another baby. I was like, okay, I didn't think you were doubling down on the baby. I thought it was gonna be like baby and
That
waterboarding,
sounds
or like,
that sounds really dark as well. Like I can handle a baby with one hand and handle another
no,
baby with another. It sounds kind of. I have to listen to it again. But it's
no,
just such a But it's such a clear message to the liberal elite that
yeah,
chill out. We are not like Trump. We are not white nationalists. We're just interested in money.
yeah,
So let's play together.
the good old stuff. But yeah, I think that's a little bit of the whole progressive world for this week. Anything else to add?
No. War Media, as you mentioned, they did a great coverage of the football. So they did a great coverage of the UK elections. If you want more details, and they talk to a lot of local people, to the reporters, to John McDonald, Owen Jones, another UK reporter who's sometimes great, sometimes he does a great interview with John McDonald, former Shadow Chancellor and a real great lefty. So I would highly recommend checking those out. Useful idiots. They had Thomas Frank on again. Check that out. So
Yeah.
my
Did
recommendation.
they talk about anything particular? Do you remember if Thomas Frank and Useful Idiots spoke about anything particular? Was it about, or you don't remember right now anyway?
Listen to it.
Because he goes on a lot of shows recently. Like he goes on a lot of shows,
They,
and
they, 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 what did they talk about? Mostly they talked about I don't remember.
anyway,
Whatever.
yeah,
I'm mixing up things.
yeah,
I
no,
was
that's fine.
anyway.
Sorry
But
for
yeah,
putting you on the spot, but okay.
no,
Thank
no.
you everybody for watching. Please like and subscribe, and as always, leave your comments, thoughts, criticisms, suggestions in the comment section. I will make sure to get to them. But for now, thank you
And
very much.
sorry, by the way, this is sort of our second or third jobs in a way, so, at least for me. So sorry we don't get to respond to all the comments and stuff. Sometimes it gets really hectic and yeah, busy.
I thought you were gonna say that's why we're late with the videos by like 3 days. Like the Kyle and Vaush thing happened like 4 days ago, but we
Uh,
finally got to it. We covered it
but
now.
a month later, so guys,
The
I
U.S. elections just wrapped up.
yeah, I don't know if you heard, but Trump lost the president. He's disputing it. There may be legal action.
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay, sure.
But yeah, I guess apologies for that too. But yeah, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in our next video. Thank you.